How you doing? I'm Mike Cottrell from MKP. You're at the MKP Studios. I'm going to try to get through this pretty fast. We've got a guest tonight from bands around town. Jim Ford's going to be with us tonight. I'm your host, Mike Cottrell. We've got a lot of dates coming up the next few months. Let's see if I can get through this so we can get Jim on here and not bore you to death. September 17th, Saturday. This coming Saturday, we're at the 3100 Club in Paducah, Kentucky. That's a good gig. We always loving that. And then September 30th, we're at the Charlotte Pub in Charlotte, Missouri. Yeah, and I'm kind of stuttering here. October 1st, we're back at the 3100 Club in Paducah. Then October 8th, we're at Rockers in Paducah. October 15th, we're at Salty Mike's Saloon in House Springs. October 21st, we're at Backwoods in Hopewell, Missouri. Then the very next day, October 22nd, we're back in Paducah again. Imagine that. November 5th, we're at Hub's Pub in Bonne Terre. December 16th, we're at the Corner Keg in Highland, Missouri. December 17th, we're at Backwoods again in Hopewell, Missouri. And December 30th, we're at Charlotte Pub again in the night before New Year's Eve. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, we'll be there. And this guy we're bringing up here is, I'm going to let him tell you exactly what it's all about. Before that, we've got some birthdays of a few famous people that I like to do every once in a while. Peter Cetera. I'm sure you know who he is, and if you don't, you should. The drummer, Mike Hossack, I guess is how you say it, the drummer for the Doobie Brothers. Doobie Brothers, great band. I'm sure if you're around my age and Jim that's coming on here a little bit, you know who the Doobie Brothers are. Bowser from Sha Na Na. That's a crazy one too. That's you know, that guy's been around a long time. But okay, I'd like you to welcome on tonight, MKP Studios, Mr. Jim Ford. Jim, how you doing there, buddy?
Hey, doing good, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You still got your Chrome cam thing on there, don't you? You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I tried to get it off. It didn't come off. So we're just gonna have Chrome cam on my nose all night.
That's okay, brother. I've got somebody contacted me tonight about you. They're trying to get a hold of you. Jason Durrett from Park Hills Underground.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get a hold of you. He told me to go ahead and have you contact him on the Park Hills site to message him. He's trying to get you talk with you about doing certain things with the bands there at the Park Hills Underground.
Oh,
they're
cool.
getting they're very close. I'm going. It's either Monday or Tuesday. I'm going back in to set up the PA for the place there. It's a nice place. I think you'll dig that place. It's kind of cool, and he's going to have a lot of original acts in there, and I think he's going to have a couple tribute acts too.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Jim, bands around town. What's it about?
Well, bands around town started. I played music for around 50 years, and then I retired about 3 years ago. Got home in my nice, comfy recliner, watched all the black and white westerns 4 times, over and over and over and over.
All of them?
And I thought, yeah, all of them over and over. Bonanza, The Rifleman, all the good ones, with good morals. And then I just snacked away and started gaining weight. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to sit in this recliner and die. So I need to do something. So I got a few cameras. And I thought, well, you know what I'll do is just give back to the music community. And so I went out just as a hobby and just started videotaping bands and getting to know the bands in the area. And it turned into a monster that needs to be fed every weekend. So, and another thing I like to mention, Mike, you were talking about Sherlock Pub.
Yes.
I used to play there in a day, and Gene Edlin. I don't know if you know who Gene Edlin is, but that's his home stomping ground. He was a rock and roller.
Holy shit, Jim! That place has been there forever.
Oh yeah. I could tell you some stories that I can't tell you, but I could tell you some
stories. Hey, I could probably tell you some stories from there, and we've only played there, I think, twice so far.
All I can say is rock and roll, brother.
Oh, so you played for 30 years, some years?
No, I played for 50 years.
50 years.
Yeah.
You're 21 again?
Yeah, I'm 67 now. So I started when I was about 17, started playing out and
So,
stuck
Jim,
with
I've looked on your site. I've watched quite a few videos. You've got some good 4K videos on there. What's going on with that? What are you doing with the bands around here and stuff?
Well, basically, what we're doing is we videotape bands and try to promote them. And it's funny when I go into record a band, they go, "Well, we don't have make very much money, or we can't afford to pay you." And I tell them, "Well, I played music all my life. I know how much money you make.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we don't charge bands. We have had a few bands just toss us some gas money to get to the next bar, so we could do the next band." But one thing I would like to say about the bands in this area is they're just I mean, I played in St. Louis, and St. Louis is pretty cutthroat as far as bands are concerned. There's only one band. The band, you're the band and that's it.
yeah.
And the bands around here are pretty giving and kind. And that's pretty much I would watch the bands and talk to their fans, and they would talk to me, and they were always kind. And that's what pretty much gave our saying here at bands around town is always to remember to be kind. And that's what had happened. The bands around here came up with that saying because they were so kind. So,
So,
but
so Jim, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off.
oh no,
How
that's
are
all right.
the venues around here? Are they pretty decent dealing with that, letting you come in and do that?
Yeah, yes, I haven't had any problems at all. I kind of had a little hiccup with a bar owner. I think they thought I was going in there and taking something away from them. But once they talked to all the bands and they knew that I knew the 90% of the bands that I record, now I know about 100% of them. But they would always put a good word in and say, and then the venue owners figured out that I'm actually there to help them, not to take anything away.
Yeah, I mean, once they realize that. Now, have you been since you started doing videos? Have you been to St. Louis to do some of this stuff?
No, I pretty much stuck around this area. Let's see, not this weekend, but the following weekend, I'm going to be in the St. Charles area, and I may kind of check that area out. And we also have two people, uh, Gayla and Sam Lacey. You may know Sam Lacey. I don't know
I
if you
know
know.
Gayla. I'm friends with her quite a bit on Facebook, and
Okay, they're wanting to do. They want to jump on the banner with bands around town, which is great. They're a huge help, and they want to cover the Cape Girardeau area and do interviews and do bands and post on the bands around town. So
uh-huh.
it's expanding, and they are a huge help. And I'd like to why I'm on here. If anybody knows who they are, I want to thank them. And there's Roy. What's up, Roy?
Roy's a
Uh,
great guy too. Roy
yeah,
Ward.
yeah. Hickory smoke, brother, all the way.
Now,
He's
how do you? Now, I'm gonna go. I'm trying to go more in depth with this. I know you're dealing with. You've done Hickory Smoke, the Sellouts, Frago, Sweetwater Holler. Is it the midnight special
Yep.
band? Okay, Shannon Cox. That's just a few that I've
The
watched.
outsiders. The
Yeah, the
outsiders.
outsider. Okay, Shannon Cox. I'm good friends with. I've done quite a few things with him. Played with him a couple times. The Midnight Special guy. I've never met those guys. I'd love to meet them guys. Sweetwater Holler. I had. Uh, I can't remember her name. The harmonica player. The lady.
Julia.
Yes, she was in here in the studio with Shannon Cox actually
Oh, cool.
playing. Then I had Shannon in here with Coach, the harmonica player, Coach. But I see that you're starting to. I mean, some of these guys are some elite players around here. I mean, what do you think about the musicianship, the fellowship around here? I mean, we're trying to work this. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get bands to come here. The same thing that you're trying to do, get a community started to get people together because we've lost that with COVID.
Right.
I mean, it was gone. I mean, it's starting to come back. I mean, what do you think are some of the things we can do to help with that?
Well, I can just tell you right from the start, all there's venues opening right and left, and I've been there and seen the curve as far as playing music as long as I did, and I've seen the ups and downs. And right now, I can tell you, it's a good time to be in a band.
It's a good time to be in a band anytime, I think.
Well, yeah, but
Oh, the
there's a
travel.
lot
Hey,
more places.
dude, are you do you miss the traveling?
No.
No. Hey, you know
It
what? I hear that a lot. I mean, everybody thinks that being in cover bands and original bands. I think everybody thinks it's so glamorous, but I always tell them, I say, it's glamorous if you think glamorous is being in a hotel room in every city, but not seeing the city.
Right. Yeah, I used
You
to be
know,
a sound guy. I was also a sound man, and I did national acts. And I can tell you a quick story that's kind of funny. I won't mention his name, but Rick Derringer. Oh, did I mention his name? I'm sorry. But I
oh,
was doing sound at the board, and there was at that time there was VHS tapes, and I had a machine up there or a camera,
VHS.
and yeah, and he goes, does that thing have a tape in it? And I said, yeah, it does. And he said, can you record with it? And I said, sure. So he did his show, and I recorded the whole show, and I was also the host. I'd go back into the dressing room, which was a kitchen. That so the rock star life ain't all of everybody thinks it is. But
No.
anyway, so we went back in the kitchen, and he had the tape, and he slams the tape down on the ground. He's pulling tape out and stomping on the tape and everything. And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, Rick." I said, I guess that's what they call copyright protected. And me and him were friends after that. It was funny. Yeah,
Great story, man. Oh,
yeah, it's pretty
hey,
cool.
me and Tommy used to tell crazy stories of the road all the time, the traveling. We're getting ready to video from October 1st to November 5th. We're going to video. It's we're a half cover band, half original band. We play damn near half originals every night, and it's one of those things. We're going to record the road. We're going to record. I mean, from gassing up to unloading the van to setting up to tearing down to talking to the crowd to try and get a little bit behind the scenes of what it takes to be in a road band that has no support.
Yeah.
You know,
I read a little note here on the side. Roy's lying again. He says I'm a good dude, and he wants to thank me for everything. And Roy, we're not going to get into the pizza joke, okay? And
uh-oh.
he'll know what I'm talking about. So
Oh no, here we I mean, Roy, I've been trying. I've out here at my property. I've got a 40-foot by 20-foot stage and almost an amphitheater arena out here. It's a
cool.
beautiful place. I've got 10 acres out here, and I'm trying to before the end of summer set something up, but it's so hard to get everybody together. It really is. I mean, I've got the full PA to run out here and a sound person that runs it, but getting these bands together, that's what's tough too. That's part about being part of the community. I can't ask everybody to play for free. You know,
Right.
it's so tough. I mean, me and the guys in my band have played free at so many of those things to get other bands to come in. I mean, the first year I did it out here, I spent $7,000, and my band didn't make anything. You know,
Yeah. I've got a quick joke to tell you about that too. Next time you have a like a pipe that's leaking in your house,
uh huh,
you need to call somebody that's a plumber and ask him to get his friends together, and you're having a party, and could he bring his friends with him to help you fix his pipes, but you'll feed him.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
we can't
That's
pay you, but we'll feed you.
we always have that exposure joke. Yeah, my mortgage is 800 exposures. It's one of those old things. But
Or
man, Roy,
go into a bar and tell the bar, hey man, you need to give free beer out all night long because it would be good exposure for you.
that's
See how that
exactly
works.
right. Yeah, I'm sure you've been through that for the 50 some
Many
years you
times.
played,
Many
and
times.
I've never seen any of those gigs really work when they tell
No.
you don't get exposure. They just get free music all night long, and you basically got to set up and tear down. But I hope to get you out to October 21st at Backwoods if you're not busy.
Okay, I may let's see, October 21st to be, yeah, would be pretty good. Can I plug something while I'm in here? Do you mind?
That's what you're here for. You absolutely do that.
Okay, well, Scott Hager is going to be playing at the Piedmont Drive-In, and that's the October the 15th. And there's going to be 2 or 3 other bands prior to
Is that
that.
Scott Haggard?
Haggard, I'm sorry.
Haggard. Okay, all right.
Scott Haggard.
Merle Haggard's brother or son?
Son. It's
Son.
his son.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be a pretty good show. I think they're planning on we're going to have a camera and going to shoot the video of the concert on the big screen. So I think that'd be pretty cool to do. And we're
Have you met
thinking
him
about
yet?
maybe live broadcasting it.
Have you met him yet, Jim?
Oh yeah, very nice guy.
Decent guy. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. That's the stuff I like to hear.
Yeah, his road manager keeps in touch with me quite often now, and I do what I can to help him and stuff. And I just told him that I like Ferraris and Teslas when they become real famous.
Have you seen the new Ferrari that's out, the 4-door?
Yes, sir.
Got a 100-gallon tank in it. Was it 349,000? That's a good economy car, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with a 100-gallon tank, yeah. So, is there anything else, Roy? Or Roy down here? Nope, he ain't said anything. Neither has Robert, Jason. Nope. Jim. So, Jim, is there anything else that you need to say or get out there? Or
no, other than I used to own a nightclub too in Washington, Missouri. It was actually the original Bush Brewery. So I kind of know both sides of the bar business and the band business. The reason why I opened up a bar is because so many times we'd go out to get a job and they would go, well, you know, what kind of following do you have?
Oh, I hate that.
And I used to tell them all the time, I said, hey, if I could guarantee you 50 to 100 people every time I played out, I'd open up my own, and I won't cuss, bar. And that's what I did.
So you know, that's crazy because if a club, and here's the bottom line of being a musician, you were for 50 years. I've been since I was 16. I'm 56 now. This thing about how many people you can bring, and you want to ask them. So, well, if you don't have any business when we're not playing, and you don't have a crowd that come in this place, what are you open for?
Yeah, I always guaranteed them that we wouldn't run anybody off.
That's exactly right. I know my band doesn't run anybody off that I know of and stuff. But if you can get out, I mean, we've got the 21st at Backwoods and December 17th at Backwoods. I'm not sure if you're busy, but I'll give you a chat, and then we're going to have you on again. You got anybody coming up soon that you're going to do an interview with here?
Yes, I'm going to be at Farmington's. What is it? Blues and Brews Barbecue.
Brews and Barbecues. Yep.
And I'm going to be videotaping, which is that's old fashioned, isn't it? But anyway, shooting. I'll be shooting 3 bands the first Friday, and then I think 5 bands. And what is it? Fields of Eden. They're going to feature the keyboard player for Stanley Clark. So.
Okay.
His name is I can't think of Robert's name. I know his first name is Robert, and hopefully I can get an interview with him, and we can get a rock star perspective of what's going on, and maybe ask him the question. Maybe he can give us some advice on how to become famous. But I think we all know that you just have to just keep grinding and be at the right place at the right time, and then it happens.
Yep. I see Roy says he's playing. Hickory Smoke is playing in Midtown Cape September 24th at the Veterans Home, 6 to 10. It's a poker run at 10 a.m. That's from Roy Ward. Okay, let's see if anybody else has got some information here. I always forget some of these over here on the end when I'm doing an interview. I hate to take away from the interview and do that, but I try to get these up on the line here, and it overlays sometimes. There it goes. Yeah. But I'm new at some of this too. I finally got this to work tonight. Last week was kind of a bummer because I did the audio and they were working on the poles down here about half a mile away, and I couldn't even get it to go fast enough to do video. So I just did audio last week. So
yeah, I've got a couple other things if you got time.
Right on. Yeah, I got plenty of time. Keep going.
Okay, I'm coming up with an ideal. The whole perspective of what I'm doing is, whether you want to admit it or not, when we all played in bands, we want to be treated like rock stars. Come on, that's let's.
It makes you feel good. Yeah.
So basically, what I'm coming up with now is I have a few restaurants that sponsor bands around town. So I'm going to try to put in motion a meet and greet with bands at restaurants and let the fans know. And then the fans can come out. Everybody's responsible for their own meal. And
Mhm.
then they can meet the band, have a sit down dinner with the band, talk to the band, and I think the bands will benefit from it. They'll expand their fan base. I think the restaurant will benefit from it, and of course the video and audio stuff that I do there, I'll benefit from it. So I just think that's kind of a cool thing that I made. I'm going to try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I've got a lot of positive response from it so far.
Jim, over in the center of Bonne Terre, have you checked out the 47 Saloon?
No, I haven't.
We've played there twice. Great people. Um, they have bar food. They just started. They're trying to get this bar established and stuff, and I try to help them out. But every other podcast, I try to promote them. It's the 47 Saloon. So right in the center of Bonne Terre. It's right by. God, see, I'm drawing a blank now because I haven't talked about them in a couple of weeks. But if you get a chance, go on Facebook, check them out. It's called the 47 Saloon, and they're having bands. They only have bands, I think, in the winter when more people start hitting the bars again because summer gets kind of slow in the bars. But they're trying to basically compete with Hub's Pub, which is tough.
Right. And speaking of Hub's Pub, I would like to I hope somebody from Hub's Pub. They've treated me wonderfully. I go there, they let me in. They don't charge me a cover charge. And I'd like to say one thing to Hub's Pub from Bonne Terre. I can say it because I don't play in a band and they can't blackball me. But they need to get rid of the cover charge. I mean, it's hurting their business, and I hope they can see that.
It's tough.
And I mean, it's better to have a full house and nobody pays a cover than 10 people pay a cover and you're not selling the liquor,
Yeah, yeah.
and stay away. And stay away from bands that want to come in there and undercut every other band. Like there's bands that come in there and they want to play for $150. And I'm going to tell you, as a bar owner, it doesn't make sense because those people are going to bring their wives that drink soda and
That's
water,
exactly right.
and
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
I can say all these. I know all the bands know this, but they can't say it because they're afraid to be blackballed. But I don't play in a band, and if they want to blackball me from videotaping in their establishment, that's their prerogative, and I'll just go to the next bar down the street.
Wallace, we're playing there.
No, I'd probably be there and videotape you. I love the place. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, I think November 5th is when we're there. Yeah.
yeah, but people just they're going to spend that $10 on liquor.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So why get the $10 from it? And because most people when they go out, the younger crowds, they have X amount of dollars that they can spend in a night.
If they spend $10 on a cover charge,
right?
Yeah, they've got $5 left to buy a beer.
Right.
Yeah, because they have the demographics. You've been a musician for a long time. You know the demographics. When you got a cover charge and 5 people come in, they're going to spend maybe $20 a piece. When you don't have a cover charge and 80 people come in, they're going to spend $20 to $40 a piece. That's just the demographics. Nobody spends usually less than 20.
Right.
When they come to a club. So it's tough. I mean, I think the bars are trying to survive like that because of COVID somewhat, but I'm sure he gets bands in there. I know he pays $2,800 for.
Wow.
I mean, some of the bands from St. Louis on special nights, and he's got to pay for them somehow. I know business went down for a while. COVID, it does. It did for everybody. I mean, I know so many people that lost their bars. They're gone. They're never coming back,
Well, I played in bands for at least 30 years in St. Louis. And I can tell you for a fact, the bands around this area are far superior than most of the bands in St. Louis. I mean, there's a handful of bands in St. Louis that are good. But
5 guys I know of that are superior players in St. Louis, and they all play in the same 5 bands, 6 bands. They do. They do. I mean,
I
I
mean, the
know.
bands around here are awesome. The talent is amazing. The talent is just amazing. You know, everybody says, Jim, come out of retirement, but let me tell you, just between me and you, and I know, but nobody's listening, so I'm afraid to come out of retirement. The talent's so good out there.
Uh-oh, my wife's on here, said, "Amen, Jim." Hey, she's the boss, man. You gotta. No, but hey, it's good to see everybody on here tonight. We've got quite a few people on here. That's good to see people. And Jim, sometimes we get 5, sometimes we get 25 people watching it live. These podcasts get about 170 to 200 views when I put them up on YouTube. So people start. It's getting better. We're slowly. It takes a while. You know that.
Right,
It
right.
it, it takes a while. I mean, we're slowly beating away at this, and I'm glad to have you back on. And we're going to get out of here, Jim. It's we've been on here about 26 minutes. If you've got something fast to say, say it.
Yeah. Hey, Robert. Thanks a lot. The cowboy said hi to Jim. So hey, cowboy.
Robert Doyle. Yes, you know Robert.
I maybe I don't know. I'm terrible with names, better with faces. But he
I'll
said
tell you,
cowboy
Robert knows
says hello.
everybody.
Oh,
Robert,
oh.
yeah, he knows. Robert's a good guy, man. Knows so many people, and I don't.
Okay.
He's
One more
one.
thing. You said I could say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Another thing that I'm doing when if you see bands around town, or BAT for short, bands around town. Okay, so if you see BAT in the bar, and you're a fan of any band, even the band that's playing there, or any other band, please feel free to walk up to us and ask us for an interview, because we want to hear how you feel towards the bands out there, and the bands want to hear it too. They want to know, how good they are, what they play. Maybe they should play a little more rock or a little less rock and more country, or maybe they shouldn't wear cowboy hats. No, maybe they should. There you go. F Troop.
Hey, another thing I wanted to say real quick. The sellouts, Frago.
Yes.
Thank you very much for plugging me in their video. I appreciate them guys.
They
You know.
they they actually called you out for an interview.
Mhm.
So the next time I'm out with my camera, tag you're it, brother.
All right. Hey, we've got it. I tell you what, if you don't want to make it to Backwoods, November 5th for Hub's Pub might be great. I don't know how busy it's going to get there, because we're low on the totem pole there, brother. We get the gigs that people cancel most of the time there.
Well, send me your schedule if you don't mind, at bands around town, and I've been looking for you, but you don't play locally very often that I was aware of.
Honestly, I tell and I've tried to help some of the guys in the bands around here. I tell them, said, hey man, Bonne Terre and Missouri and St. Louis is great, but you go south because there's money.
Right.
I'm not shitting you. We make $350 in tips, and some places around here we don't make that.
Well,
And
don't
it's
go too far
bad.
south. Yeah, don't go too far
No,
south, because in Nashville you don't make any money.
no, you
I
don't.
went there. I went to Nashville, and I had an uncle that was a regular on the Grand Ole Opry,
Hmm.
and that was in 87 or 91. I can't remember, but people were standing in line in the backstage to with their guitars in their hand to make $50, and at that time I was making $100 in St. Louis, and it was like,
Wow.
I'll go back home and make my
Yeah,
$100.
it's time to go back home.
Right.
I don't get the, it's like Tommy, the bass player, he's from Los Angeles. And all these clubs you hear, the famous clubs that all these bands play down there in LA, and he goes, you'd be surprised if you went to any of these clubs, and we're not playing there, so I can say, he goes, they're shitholes.
Yeah.
He goes, they're vomit on the floor, you know.
Yeah, it's like playing at the Landing in St. Louis. We played there a few times, but we pretty well tried to stay away from there, because, it was like, well, it's a privilege for you to play there, and and
Yeah.
it's back to the old exposure thing with a little pay.
A place I love in St. Louis, but I don't like the sell your tickets, pay for your place stuff is Red Flag. They've got a nice place there, but this you know, you've been there. It's kind of tough, you know. I mean, I don't. If you're not from that town, you play to ashtrays,
Right.
you know, and you sell the tickets. If you don't, you got to, you know, pay out of your pocket to play there. And I stopped doing that when I was, you know, 30, maybe, you know. But it's one of those things. But Jim, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody, give Jim a great hand.
Here's one.
Thanks, guys. I'm Mike Ott from MKP. We're at MKP Studios. If you guys get a chance, go to bands around town. Like you said, BAT for short.
Yep, BAT for
Check
short.
it out. And it's a community thing, guys. You know, and like Jim was talking about, stop undercutting your brothers. See you later. Bye-bye.